My. Terence Crawford hinting at retirement. Big article coming out about Turki Alashiekh'S. And Gervonta Davis laughing along with Canelo at the whole thing. Let's talk about that. And you better believe I'm going to tell you, I told you so, in this video. If something sounds too good to be true, it very well may be too good to be true and not actually be true. So the news coming out about the end of the international spending spree of Saudi Arabia to focus on domestic Saudi projects, sending waves of realization through the boxing world. Right around the same time that this news comes out, which I don't think most people in boxing still contemplate, but don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll understand it. There was, at the same time, though, in one of my favorite YouTube channels, a hint about the future of the pound for pound #1 fighter and the #1 beneficiary right now in the United States of Saudi slush fund money, Terence Bud Crawford, that he may be retiring. They posit the question, somebody from his camp, will we see Terence Crawford again? Well, if you judge by the track record, you may not see him fight with Turki Alashiekh'S again. I don't know if he's going to retire, but this particular turn of events that I will describe could definitely send him towards retirement, because the likelihood of him getting another massive payday and Eminem concert on Turki Alashiekh'S birthday out in LA, chances just went down significantly. So why do I say that? Because Turki Alashiekh'S gets his money from something called the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, this public investment fund is gigantic. If I recall correctly, I think it's somewhere near $1 trillion. I mean, they got a lot of money, 950 billion, something like that. And they're going all around the world spending this money. There's an article coming out by Paul Magno, one of my favorite writers, probably my favorite writer, because he cuts straight to the chase. He hinted in a tweet that came out that many people in boxing are souring and finally starting to criticize Turki Alashiekh'S and his influence over boxing, because they realize that I think he called it filthy lucre, Lucre, which means ill-gotten money, may not actually be making it to these journalists that are now starting to talk about it a little bit. Now, please understand that I've been talking about this for a while. So let's get back to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is in a very funny situation, and one that Gervonta Davis said. He said, Gervonta said the reason why Terence Crawford and people that go over there to Turkey, he didn't say Terence Crawford by name, but he said the reason all you guys go to Turkey is because you need Turkey because you can't sell over here. I don't need Turkey because I can sell over here. I can make that type of money right here. So I don't need to do that. Well, who is with Turki. Terence Crawford is with Turki. And how much money did, just say Terence Crawford made $15 million in his last fight. Let's just say that number, because I think that's a reasonable number for him to have gotten paid the way that Turki was talking. And the fact that they had to pay a whole lot of money, they lost. What did they say? They lost $10 million in that particular fight. So Terence Crawford got that type of payday from Turki Alashiekh's. But Turki Alashiekh's, if he's no longer going to be able to access public investment fund monies for fights in the United States again, what is Terence going to do? Also, Terence said he didn't want to fight Virgil Ortiz. Turki Alashiekh's said he's not paying $200 million for Canelo Alvarez, which in retrospect now just seems like Canelo Alvarez was calling Turki Alashiekh's bluff, because maybe he talked to somebody that told him, man, look, dude, them dudes ain't got that money to spend like that on you. They've got money for days, but hey, at a point in time, dude, they're not going to continue just to pay that stuff on boxing matches and continue to lose that type of money. Nobody's out here looking in the world that has a lot of money that's out here looking to lose a bunch of money. They're not in the practice of doing that. So anyway, so now you've got Bernie the Boxer on Terence Crawford's channel talking about on his channel talking about Terence Crawford and saying, hey, man, will we see him again? I think we're going to see him. But we're going to see him in a situation where, dude, look, man, he's going to, well, maybe we won't, because I doubt very much he's going to get the type of payday that he wants from anybody. Probably not going to get it from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's been off the bandwagon of losing a bunch of money in fights. Been off that bandwagon. Because the guy that owned DAZN has been off that bandwagon. And now it seems like Turki Alashiekh's is getting off that bandwagon. You're going to have to go back to being able to actually sell fights in order to make a lot of money in boxing. And I'm telling you right now, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's funny so often how like people act like it's a bad thing that fighters have to sell at stadiums and they have to sell tickets, because if they're selling, then they're doing something that people are willing to see. Now, having people fight different fights and that kind of, casual boxing fans are not familiar with, I understand the necessity of that as well. But I don't think that that's been the case with Gervonta Davis. But Gervonta Davis was very right in not hitching his jumping off of something where he knows he can make money himself to getting on the teat of Turki Alashiekh's. And look where Terence is. If this is true, look where Terence is now. But also look where, who else? Well, Anthony Joshua. I don't think Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are really there, because they can go to the UK if they need to and sell in the UK. Their money is just going to come down. But anyway, at the end of the day, man, I can't wait to read this article about coming out from Paul Magno today about Turki Alashiekh's. Again, I just don't understand how people think that it is a good idea for somebody that is paying for everything on a whim without any regard whatsoever for losing money, that is somehow some stable thing that is going to empower and grow boxing into one of the greatest, back to where it used to be, or, is something sustainable for boxers over the long run or boxing fans over the long run. It's not sustainable. It's just a Band-Aid. It's just a quick hit type of thing. And that type of situation is not good for boxing. Just like people were talking about those fake celebrity boxing matches were bringing more fans to boxing, and the Jake Paul fights and the KSI fights and all of that nonsense. That's gone the way of the dodo too. This stuff is probably going to go the way of the dodo. And at the end of the day, it's just going to be who's going to buy tickets to your fights, whether it's pay-per-view or whether it's to see it in person. And do you have people that are willing to sponsor you in order to subsidize the ticket sales for you representing their products? But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Back to reality. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.